What's up everybody, welcome to week 9 of the Zwift Build Me Up training plan. It is a cold Saturday morning and I'm going to be going over the rides that I've done for the week. It has been a big week and it's starting to ramp up as it keeps reminding me in game. Next week and the week after, 10 and 11 are pretty brutal, so we're ramping up towards them. So let's start with the rides. So on Monday, the first ride that I done was the MALEVOLENT, I believe you pronounce it, which actually means having or showing a wish to do evil to others. So basically, it's trying to hurt me. So what do we have? Basically an hour ride. You can see here that there is no brake. That's the first thing that comes to mind. You see in this whole section here, there's no brake. It doesn't drop the watts at all. So we've got 24% in zone 1, but that's mainly at the start and end. So most of it is high. So we've got 15 minutes at 276 watts, and then 1 minute at 353, 10 minutes, and then 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute, 2.5 minutes. So it basically drops down, and then 30 seconds, and so basically you're just going for it all out. It was pretty damn savage. It was a hard ride, but you know, managed to get through that one. The first one of the week never feels too bad. Always quite motivated on a Monday morning to get through it and get a relatively hard one complete. The stats for that, what do we have? Malevolent, let's click through to that. 23.1 miles, 118 relative effort, which is pretty tough. Average speed, 23 mile an hour. So you can see the sort of work that I'm putting in. Pretty hard actually, pretty hard. Let's have a look at heart rate, and you can see a lot of time spent in threshold. So it was tough. It was a tough ride, but a good one. Monday morning, all done, ride complete. On to Tuesday we go. So on Tuesday we tackled the MELANGE workout, and this one was pretty tough just because of the duration. Now a lot of it is spent in zones 1 and 2, which doesn't look too bad to be honest when you look at this, but because it's an hour and a half, all of these sections are actually elongated. So if we look at these sort of yellow sections, so zone 4, that's this here, so 6 minutes, 6 times 2 minutes at 307 watts. So you're actually doing 12 minutes at FTP, so it looks relatively easy in the whole, but you've got some hard efforts in there. We've also got these sprints at the end, which is basically 20 seconds at 400 watts, and then you're basically down to 170 watts for 40 seconds. So that's basically 8 minutes of sort of a sprint, recovery. There's a lot of like time, like 10 minutes at 200 watts, and same here, so that's 30 minutes just at 200 watts, and that's probably the first time in this whole plan where it's just stuck me at like 200 watts for like 30 minutes of a ride. Normally it's fluctuating cadence or doing something different, but it wasn't too bad. So again, this one was 109. I did have to cut this short. I cut out 10 minutes at 200 watts just because I was really short on time. It's been a busy week, peeps. It's been a very busy week. So 18.7 miles. We've got 209 weighted average. We've got 74 relative effort, so we thought it was quite easy. 16.2 mile an hour. So you can see the difference compared to the ride yesterday, or the Monday ride. And let's have a look at heart rate. So again, you can see there, only 4% in threshold, most of it moderate in tempo. So it was much lower, much easier ride overall. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday done, 2 good rides done. Wednesday was a gym session, and as you all know, I like doing those gym sessions. It breaks up the week, does something different, keeps the upper body moving as well and working. Gym session complete, the usual one. I'll pop it up on screen now, the exercises that I've done. Rinse, repeat. I do the same exercises 3 times round. It's kind of like a circuit, kind of pump through it. Now, whilst doing that, I did start to feel quite tired. When I say quite tired, I mean relative to other times I've done that session. So you start to know your body quite well when you do it week after week after week, and you can tell when you're tired, and I was. So I started to think maybe something's a little bit off here because I just couldn't do the same amount that I would normally do. And it was 5 days since I'd done that workout, so I should be fully recovered really upper body. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all active, and Thursday was another active day, and that day I'd done the CIRCUS workout. Now you can just take a quick look at that, and you don't need me to explain that this one was hard. I mean, the peaks here, these are the highest peaks we've had in the 9 weeks so far. The max watts that we had here, for example, 614 watts. I know it's only 15 seconds, but it's enough. It's enough to make you suffer, and then it just ongoing. There is 20, 20, and 20 sprints. So 60 sprints basically this was. So can see here 15 seconds, one, then 18 there, and then another one. So that's 20 there, then a 5-minute break. And then it's the same thing here, so 4, 10, 16, 20, and then a 5-minute break, and then the same again. So, and it was savage. It was absolutely savage. I'm not gonna lie, this was one of the hardest ones. You don't really get to recover because it's 15 seconds sprinting, 15 seconds recovery. Now, if you've used a turbo on erg mode before, 15 seconds sprinting, then you have like 2 or 3 seconds where it's like slowing down, and then you have to ramp up again 2 or 3 seconds before the sprint. So you literally get like 10 seconds, if that, to sort of recover-ish. And by like the 20th one in a set, savage, absolutely savage. So we've got 19.9 miles, 268 watt weighted average, 91 relative effort. I feel like it was harder than that, but anyway. An hour move time, average speed 19.9, 20 mile an hour basically. Heart rate, where were we at? Loads in threshold basically, and some in moderate. But that was a hard ride. That was the first ride that's really got me sprinting, and you know, it's waited 9 weeks to take me there. So interesting it was. That was Thursday. Friday I had off because I needed a bit of recovery time. And Saturday I was going to take on the final ride of the week, which was MOSAIC. Now, I really struggled on this one. MOSAIC on Saturday, I started the ride and I was struggling, I could tell. My body was just not feeling quite right, not through fatigue, through maybe a little bit of illness, through whatever it may be. I can tell it wasn't quite right. It's Sunday now as I'm recording this and I still don't feel right. So what basically happened is we got to these sort of intervals here, these red and blue intervals, which if we look down here is 5 times 3 minutes, 100 RPM, 353 watts, and then 3 minutes, 200 watts. So basically 3 minutes really intense, 3 minutes not too bad. The first one I done, I nearly didn't finish. Now for me, with an FTP of 307, I should be able to do that, not with ease, but I should be able to get through that and be okay. But I could tell straight away that I was off. Done another one and literally nearly ground to a halt. Meant to be at 100 RPM, I was at about 65, stood up, just grinding. Just wasn't working. I did actually stop at that point and I reduced my FTP down in game, which you can do. So when you reduce your FTP down in game, it drops all of these down basically. So it makes it easier. So at this point I dropped it down. So this third one was my FTP, 305 watts, 307 watts, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't even hold my FTP for 3 minutes. And that was only 15 minutes into the ride. So, or whatever it was, 25 minutes into the ride. So I stopped it. I stopped the ride because it was the first time how can I explain it? When you are like that, you do need to listen to your body because you know best. This program, obviously it's there and it's guiding you, but you know if you are struggling, if you're finding it difficult, then you need to act upon that and make sure you're right, because I've got 2 more weeks coming up that are really, really hard. And if I'm not fighting fit for those, I'm gonna really, really struggle. So I'm feeling a little bit today, it's Sunday still, so hopefully Monday I'm 100%. So this week, body weight wise, I have remained relatively stable actually. Started at 76.6, then went to 76.7, and I basically stayed at 76.8, which is up a little bit from like last week. I've had some 76.5s, but I'm hovering around the same amount. Overall, pretty happy with that. We can see how it's tracking over here on the right. You do have these plateaus, these highs and lows, and that's just the way it goes. That's the way it swings basically, which is why you want to look at the weekly average. So you can see here I'm in 100 grams heavier on last week. So that's nothing really. 2 more weeks coming up. Maybe we'll get down to around 76, which might be good. So we have 73.2 miles complete, 2,976 calories, 3.5 hours ride time basically, and the average watts for the week was 231. So not too bad, to be honest. That's a pretty good week considering the final ride I only done a quarter of it. And for the plan as a whole, we have done 785 miles, which is pushing it, peeps. We're getting there. 31,442 calories, 36 hours of riding so far in the 9-week period. 217 watts is the average for the whole duration of the plan. 45 days active in total, and then we've got watts per kilo is 4 basically. We can see our averages here, but it's going to be hovering around 4 until the end. Stress points this week was 390. So if we look at the other weeks, we've had one other week that was harder. That was week 7 was much harder at 431. So yeah, it's going to be bumping up the next 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks are the 2 hardest weeks, highest stress scores. So there we go, that is the totals overall. That is week 9 of the Zwift Build Me Up training plan. Subscribe, I will have another video out next Sunday of week 10. Until the next one, fine peeps, self-love, safe riding, and I'll see you soon.